Okay, this is crazy, you guys. So Ralph Haven's here and Leslie Plattner, and we're gonna make this. This is just so cool because we have no idea what we're gonna say, but it's about Matrix Energetics. So we're both very thankful, grateful for Richard Bartlett, chiropractor, naturopath, and just pure crazy man who showed us this. And I had a friend years that took Matrix Energetics. It was a class back in the day, and I've taken it over 30 something times. Leslie's taken it many, many, many times also, and we'll tell you why in a little bit. But I had a friend who took it when it first came out, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of what Richard's talked about in the past of how it came to be, because it just came to him, and as a gift from God, I could say, and then we're going to talk about a Matrix Energetics experience because we're really grateful. And I can talk about my experience and Leslie. So if you've ever wondered what is Matrix Energetics and how do you use it and do you do it? You know, people say, how do you do Matrix Energetics? And one of the things that's really interesting about people that have taken Matrix Energetics or that have worked with me and Leslie while we used Matrix Energetics is that to say, how do you do it is just not even the right question. It's so people, after you've taken Matrix Energetics, we have a different way of talking, literally, because there's a different view of what's possibly reality, or maybe it's not. And but there's a way to play. And so I want to ask, I'm going to give my version of this first and then ask Leslie, because what happened for me, and again, I want to thank Richard Bartlett, because you talk to him, listen to him, watch him, follow him. He talks about the stories, and he's got 2 books, Matrix Energetics and The Physics of Miracles, and tells a story of just having his time when he was beyond himself, didn't know what to do with the little girl who had a problem. And he had something happen. You could call it a hallucination, you could call it a thing, but miraculously she was healed. And then a series of things happened. He almost died in a car wreck and stuff, he got really, really sick. But this thing happened, and all of a sudden he would wave his hands around and people would have a healing happen. So there was this guy, Mark Dunn, that started following around and said, I want to know what you do with your hands. And for the way I understand the story is a couple of years of Mark Dunn following Richard Bartlett and being with him in his clinic, and he couldn't get it, and he couldn't get it, and he couldn't get it. And finally he was just going to leave. And he said, screw it, man, you'll never see me again if I don't get it. And it was looking like it was going to go very, very badly. And in one miraculous moment, it involved Richard Bartlett kicking him in the chest or karate chopping him or something like that, basically hitting him. And then Mark Dunn could do Matrix Energetics. And they went around and just played and taught these seminars. And I had a friend that took it in the early days, and she said, yeah, I don't know what they did. We all just laughed. Some people fell down. I don't think I learned anything. I don't even know what to do. And that was my experience. And so years later, I had a friend, Kim Burnham, who was working with me in my clinic, PhD, integrated manual therapist. And she's working in my clinic and getting these miraculous results, even more than my medical intuitive work. And so I was like, Kim, when am I going to get to do what you do? And she said, Ralph, you already do. You just don't know it. And I'm like, come on, talking like some sort of Zen master. What are you doing? And she said, just take Matrix Energetics, in her words, because it's mind-blowing fun. And she used to always bring me presents. And so every 3 months she would come work in my clinic for two weeks at a time. And that was the time she brought me Yoda. So Yoda was hanging out in the airport and she bought me Yoda. And I took Matrix Energetics, and we went to class, me and my wife, Jen, and Kim Burnham. And we, I don't know if another therapist I had 5 therapists working with me. They all ended up taking it, just about all of them at some point. But there we were. And so they were in class, and Richard Bartlett and his team is talking about stuff, physics and spiritual stuff, and saying things that seemed ridiculous. And then they said, okay, go ahead and practice. And I'm like, practice what? You didn't teach us a damn thing. I didn't say damn, but you didn't teach us anything. And just go practice. So I said, okay, Jen. So Kim Burnham is standing behind Jen and my wife, and I put one, and I'm doing this for you guys right now, in case you want to know. I put one hand on Jen, and I put the other hand here, and I just let go in a very specific way. And Jen had this wide-eyed look in her eyes, and she just started falling back. And Kim Burnham caught her, and she fell down. And I said, "No way!" And Jen, on her way down, she goes, "Way!" And I'm like, "What the heck?" And around the room, some of the people were falling, some were looking confused, some were laughing, some were just looking stressed out. And I'm like, "What?" And so then for the rest of the 3 days, we were doing versions of that with people, and they would talk about stuff that seemed to be unrelated to anything. And then they would say, "Okay, go practice." I was like, "Practice what?" And so we were literally soaking in something, and we were getting it because we were there, literally soaking in something. And whatever this is. And so I went back to the clinic, and I thought, okay, I'm going to just take the first 3 days. I know they're taking a day off in class, and they're supposed to come back for level 3 2 days later or a day later. But I said, I've had enough. That's good. I'll go to my office and just start to do this thing. So I start to do this thing, and some stuff happened. And one of the things was I put my hand on my office manager. I said, "Hey, Susan, let me do this." So I put a hand on her, and then put a hand on her, and I did this thing. And for those of you that might be interested, I just did this thing for you. And I said, "Susan, what did you notice?" And she looked at me and she said, "You just took all the sorrow out of my heart." And I'm like, "What? I didn't even know you had sorrow in your heart." And so my clients, my patients were saying, "Where have you been, Ralph? This stuff is crazy cool." So Jen and my friend Kim Burnham conspired and took everybody off my schedule on the Wednesday, Thursday. And there I was back in class for level 3. And I came back for Friday, and I'm sitting around, and my new patient was Medicare patient was filling out her paperwork. She was late, new client. And so I went over to sit next to Kim Burnham, and just hanging out with her client, my client, but Kim was working on her. And Kim said, "Well, you could always go in the room and set it up so it's already done." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they showed us how to do that." So I went in the room, and I did a special process to energetically do something to set the space up so that by the time I showed up, it would already be done. So it was all done. And I just did that for you guys right now. So then Wanda walks in. I can say her name because she left me a wonderful success story. Wait till you hear this. And she sat down in physical therapy consult, and she told me environmental sensitivities, chemical sensitivities, anxiety, depression, chronic pain, on disability. She had just started taking some art classes. I said, "Okay, well, stand up." And she just stood up. And I said, "Hang on." And I put one hand like this. I'm doing it for you guys now. And one hand here. And I did this thing. And she turned to me and she says, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What am I doing?" And then she just spent the rest of the hour rolling around on the floor and laughing and looking like she was in pain and looking like she was in ecstasy. And I thought, well, I did this thing, and I better look like I'm working. So I followed her around. I was just like watching her, like what has possessed this woman? And she was just laughing and laughing. And so at the end of the hour, she finished, and she was like, "Wow, what was that?" And I don't know what I said about energy or something. And each of her 6 sessions, she had 6 sessions, were versions of that. It got to the point where I would just raise my hand and say, "Wanda, how's it going?" "Oh." And she would just fall to the floor, like in the clinic, and start to do this stuff. Not everybody acted like that or did that, but we had people around the clinic, like all of a sudden somebody would be like, they'd fall over, onto a chair. We would like put chairs behind them. And we were just having this crazy time and laughing. And Kim Burnham was like, "Wow, I think they're teaching it differently than when I first took it." She was like kind of funny like that. So that was going on. And Wanda ended up going away. And after months, I emailed her like, "Hey, how's it going? Do you need any more sessions? How are you doing?" She said, "You don't understand. I knew the instant my anxiety and depression went away. I threw away all my supplements, all my stuff." She went to Europe. She carried a backpack. She never was before able to even hold a purse. Later, I got emails from her. She was in Costa Rica on zip lines, and her art had taken off, and she was in art galleries. And she made me this one of me. I bought a bunch of her stuff, but this is one of her drawings, Wanda Honeycutt, and Art from the Heart. And that, I think, is what the little guy in the middle is doing. That's what I think Matrix Energetics is. See, the front guy's the dad, all serious. The mom is back there, knows she's got shit to do. And that little guy in the middle playing and having the time of his life or her life, that's Matrix. And so I'm going to talk to Leslie, because Leslie's a matrix energetics practitioner. And this is what we do. We do it 3 days a week in our group. We also have people with us, Ilya Kavukas and Leslie and Katie Kavanaugh, and we all do another version of stuff called Peace Process and Instant Miracle, Kristen Michelson's work. But right now I'm talking about matrix energetics and the world of instant things happening. And my experience is that it was so relieving, because I had had a medical intuitive model and this very intense way of looking and feeling and working on people to fix up, to heal, to change chronic medical conditions and pains and conditions of all sorts. And but it took a lot of work. And when I took Matrix, it was like, oh my God, it's easier than I ever imagined. So Leslie and I have seen miracles, and we've also seen process where it can take time with these miracles interspersed throughout. So I want to bring on Leslie Plattner, and I know I've been talking a lot, but Leslie, what the heck is this matrix energetic stuff?
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks for having me be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thinking about matrix energetics, my practice is different than yours, but I think what it did for me, and I've had some people say, oh, ever since you've worked with me, I don't have any pain anymore, that kind of stuff. But I think what it did for me being in those classes was, first of all, like you said, you just had to go do it. So it taught me to trust and notice what I notice and trust. And, I think I was already pretty intuitive, but now I have things happen like I'll start smelling camellia and I'll look up camellia and I'll see, oh, that's the perfect, Bach flower essence for that person. Or I'll see an animal and I look up the animal. It's like, oh, that's exactly what the person needs, whatever that represents. And I noticed that for myself and for other people, what it's done for me the most is resilience. Life just keeps bringing stuff, especially these days, and people have some really deep, dark things to work with. And I think through matrix energetics, trusting, notice what you notice, the resilience is what I'm seeing the most, is that people learn to ride the waves. They become less depressed, more optimistic. They know how to notice what they notice, trust what comes to them. That's what I love. And I have had people in extreme pain where I just was with it and I just followed it, and like where they couldn't even stand up because their back was spasming so badly. And I just do what comes to me and follow and trust. And, pretty soon in a few minutes, they're standing up and it's not hurting anymore. But that's not the focus of my practice. Like, it's really for me that in my own life, it became so ingrained that there's always another possibility. And that because Richard would always say, you have to be willing. You have to be willing. Open the door to the universe. It doesn't have to be hard. And I'm willing to be willing. If I'm not really willing, if there's some part of me that's afraid, or in other people, if there's some part that's kind of holding up on tight, like, no, I don't think I can move through this, and I've had these coping mechanisms in place for a really long time. I don't want to let them go. There's this place of, where is another possibility for me in this entire universe? And I teach people that the 2-point or the willingness, and that's super transformative in my life and everyone's life. That feels gigantic to me.
Yeah, the Matrix Energetics 2-point. Numerous times people are asking me, like, how do you do this Matrix 2-point? They read the book and they're like, how do you do it? And let me ask you this. What was, before you to go back in time and like, when you first were even heard the words or thinking about it, what made you, how did you find Matrix Energetics, and what led you to think to even take the class, and then how was it the very first time you started to play with it? Like, what made you start this process? Like, how did you get into Matrix Energetics?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I usually in my life, I'm guided to things. And I think I was taking a breath work class, and the teacher said, this isn't your thing. I know it's not your thing. You're not going to be a teacher of this, which other people were. And he was right. And he said, I think you would like Matrix Energetics. So I looked at it and I asked my friend, hey, would you like to go to this with me? And then we just went to every single class we could go to. And
What made you keep going?
oh my gosh, just because the energy in the room, you know, at first there were 500 people and you could hear a pin drop. There's sacred space, and then the freedom, like, because everybody that he worked with, you know, it would affect us, all of us. And also I love mysticism, and he does too. And I love science. I love quantum physics. I love science. I come from being an RN. I like that side. And this just combined, it combines science and spirituality or mysticism. And he would do these wild and crazy things. And then he would turn around and tell us why that worked, you know, scientifically. And so that was appealing. Plus just the freedom from all of the crap that we store in our bodies, all of the old stories of who we are and our pain, it would just be gone, you know, like, and we'd be doing these wild and crazy things. Like he'd say, okay, don't go do it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then we would do it and it would work. And it was so much fun. Like probably the most fun I've had in my life was going to those. So you ask, why would I keep going? Because it was so much fun.
Me too. Yeah, it's not like we had to learn more stuff. It's just to be in that space of that, whatever that is, and to see that the world is more magical than we ever thought. It actually was like how we used to think of it as little kids. And
yeah.
and
Oh my gosh, magic. Pure magic with a scientific, this is how it works. You know,
I'm the same way. When you said that, it's like it rang true for me. Like the mysticism and like the energetic mysticism, wow, energy healing stuff, and then some science to go, okay, this is possibly an explanation of why this works. So what
and you know how Richard would work with guides and angels, and you know, so it opened that up even more to me. It was already open, but even more trusting that something wants to come through and just being present with it.
Yeah, you know what got me was I always thought there was like I always used to read the Bible as a little kid, and I thought, God, that's Jesus and his healing stuff, and then you know the later on stuff like the movies What the Bleep and The Secret and all that kind of stuff, and just like yeah, this stuff all it makes sense that you can how you think can affect your world, and you can create realities. And I literally took classes called reality creation, and I was like, all this stuff makes sense, but the results were just like a little better. And then Matrix came along. It's like, oh my God, it's been true all along, and it's so much easier than all this stuff. That was my experience.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. Just increased my ability to just feel into somebody's body, and I feel like things, and I don't necessarily know what's happening, but I can feel that it's working on different parts of their body, going inside, working with muscles, working with bones, working with cells.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what's happening mentally, but I know something's happening.
Yeah, something always changes with Matrix Energetics, and then we get to go notice what we notice, like Richard would say, and notice what's different, and then just keep noticing. And if you didn't notice, would you know that something just changed? Like you could kind of literally miss miracles.
Yeah, that's true.
How's your life different now? Like you're a healer, you help us in our group, you're part of our group, you're one of us, Atomic Success Secrets, and we do daily healing. And I put a link in there about that, what we do with that. But and I've got something.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've made it through so many things. So, and I'm just a happier person. I made it through physical challenges, Lyme disease and toxic spider bite, and mental emotional stuff of losing my business, losing my home, having to move 3-4 times in a few years. And, you know, my husband and I have had some challenges, and we're still together. We're happy. You know, life is just like, I trust the process of life more. I'm able to just be in a bad mood and then say, wait a minute, there's another possibility. I'm willing to be different right now. And then life just opens up. My heart is so much more open. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I work with, I mean, I love the work that I do with people. It's miraculous. I help people to figure out how to be with themselves so that their lives change, you know, their joy, their abundance, their work, their health.
So as you went through this process of transforming and using this matrix energetics and everything, you have a lot more stuff that we use more than that, but that is a big part of it. What kind of conflicts have you seen? Like, what do people get rid of all their problems? Is it like life just rosy? You know,
Well,
what kind of things got in the way at that point? Now that we've been playing matrix energetics.
well, like I started saying, it's the resilience that people know there's another possibility. And so in the midst of turmoil, and I really think it is what I like to help people with really is maybe a spiritual capacity that
Yeah.
that life will always bring you challenges. It's like you said, you climb to the top of the hill and then you look out, you see there's nothing but more hills. Like, and so how do you be happy in the moment? No, if all hell is going on,
Yeah.
and how do you still connect with that joy that is you? And I really think like going through all, you know, everything Richard taught, or like you were talking about the other day, QR codes, you know, like, okay, I'm living this QR code. This is a symbol for this life that I'm having. What if I chose another QR code? And, you know, it's the way into a complete different reality. And then noticing what you notice, what happens, what's different. And training myself and my clients to really look for what's different, because we tend to forget the changes. Anything that's changed, we just remember the bad stuff. So
Yeah.
really, it's different. After you do this session, who do you meet? What do you hear on the radio? What who tells you about herbs or medicine or the perfect job, or, you know, just life just opens up and it helps people be more resilient, feel more in control. I can handle this. Life, this huge wave is not going to kill me. I can ride it with my surfboard. Like,
Yeah.
that's really what I love about this work. And
And
being able to say, I could do that or that or that or that or that or that or that. You know, there's all these different choices that Richard taught, you know, especially in the third session, the hallucinating out of your skull. All the ways to tap into frequencies or angels, or to do physical work on people without doing physical work, you know, just to choose it and make their body or in their self aware of it so that it and feel the changes. I mean, it's so much fun and it's so easy. And it's like having a whole, being a magician and having a whole toolbox, I guess. I don't know. It's
yeah,
just,
one of my former clients from a long time ago was like, she was way into Harry Potter. And she goes, yeah, but you guys actually live Harry Potter. Like
yeah.
you actually get to play. I think that's one of the things that's what's so wonderful is we get to play. And there's still tough times. Like I go through tough times, you go through tough times. Our clients still have the next mountains. Like, you know, I know people that have a lot of wealth, but then they've got the problems of people stealing from them and the problems of people just wanting them for their money. And, you know, there's different problems at different levels. And we get to play. The other part that I find really good, that's why I'm so grateful for you and people with us, is that sometimes we get a little to a tough spot, even if things are good from, you know, there's like, Ralph, life is good. Everybody's doing good. It's like, but there's a tough spot. And when you have a group of people around you that believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself, we all go through stuff. It's good to have other people to be in this space. So you can just pop into it. And then it's like, yeah, I'm not feeling very good today, you guys. And it's like, okay, let's heal that, or let's go there. And so that's one of the wonderful things about how we like to play. Because I think from what I've experienced, out of all this stuff of healing and manifestation and doing energy stuff and doing physical stuff to get what you want in life and in your health, one of the biggest things, maybe the biggest thing is I found is who we're around. Like if you're around certain people, the right people, you can do really great things. And if you're part of something bigger, you know, the spiritual connection, people that have faith, there's something to that. If you're part of something bigger and you're with people that got your back, that are going to do the energy work, that everybody's going to be, you know, clearing the stuff and knowing what to do. If you're around, who you're around really does matter. And I think that's the extra part. I want to ask you, anything you want to tell people, because we have a special right now, you know, we do our energy healing, our practical stuff, our mystical stuff. We help people heal and get their health back. Like you were talking about surfboards, to get on your own surfboard, take your own wave, do what you're here to do in life, get your health, get your life the way you know, get it going. And we do it we do it one-on-one. You know, you and I have one-on-one clients. Right now, what I'm talking about is our group, Atomic Success Secrets. And we do this every week. Like between you and me, we're in there 3 days a week. And a lot of times when we're not the one leading the group, we're in there anyway, because it helps us, and the energetics of having a bunch of people doing this at one time. It's really powerful. And so while, if this is interesting to you, I want to ask Leslie what she thinks of our, you know, I know what she thinks about our group, but I'll just let her talk about it. Is I'm going to give 2 one-on-one sessions, because I was like, how can I do more? What can I do to help people get what they want and help me get what I want? I thought, well, I'm a healer. I'm going to do more healing. So we have the group, and if you're interested, you can join us. Join me, join Leslie, join me and Leslie, and learn Matrix Energetics, not by us teaching you, but because you just get to be here, and it's like soaking in it, and then start to use it. And again, special thanks to Richard Bartlett for showing us how to just play and get practical things to do and be with a group of people. If you're interested in this, there's a link there, and I'm going to give you 2 one-on-one sessions, full 1-hour private healing sessions with me. And I think I'm springing this on Leslie, but I think she would do a free session for you too. Okay, she said yes. So 3 sessions, one-on-one, 1 with Leslie, 2 with me, full-on sessions, one-on-one, and you join us in the group, and we've got your back. Between Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we're the ones leading the group. And then the other days, it's Ilya and Leslie. So if you want, and yeah, Ilya and Katie. And then if this speaks to you, let us know. And there's something extra that's a bonus. I can mention her name because she told me to. Katie McIntyre. Love Katie. She works with me. She has healed a lot of stuff in her own business. She's responsible for $50 million of sales for her clients, and she's only 29 years old. And she works with us. She says she's never going to not work with me. And she graciously gives her time to work with us, to help any of us that want to work on business stuff. And just because she's let go, and I can say this because she told me to say this, to let people know, she used to run her life on anger. She could make a lot of money, but she ran herself on anger, and she doesn't anymore. She's at peace, and some really wonderful stuff has happened in her personal life. So she's with us on Thursday as well for healing and figuring out the business side of things. What we're mostly about is healing our health, healing this inner stuff, the inner conflicts, and helping us all get what we want in life. Leslie, anything else you want to say about Matrix, about your work, about the work in the group, your message to people?
Well, first of all, I'll just thank you again for starting the the Atomic Success Secrets group. I love the group, and the group does get you there, and it's so much fun. It's just great to be with the people that join and want to be there. I'm not always there every day, but I do join it frequently, and I love leading it and mentioning some of the Matrix language. I guess people pick up the ideas from the language, and yeah, so that's great. I love it. And I'm totally, if somebody wants to sign up and experience it, I would love to do a one-on-one. I just love this work. And you mentioned something which now, you mentioned Katie McIntyre, that, not running on anger. That's the stuff that I love. That's the stuff.
That's your wheelhouse.
I love helping people, that's what I was saying, that anger was some kind of a coping mechanism. You know, anger gives us power or energy or something. But when we can switch, when our programs that are programmed in that we've chosen, when we can choose new programs, and it doesn't have, like, maybe you can't figure it out, but from doing this work, it just comes to you. Like, it becomes a new belief, a new ability. And you may not understand consciously how you can get there. Like, you may, like going to therapy, you may understand what's going on and why maybe, but how do I change that? And that's what I love, is this is the work we do, Matrix and Peace process. It helps you let go of old programming and be able to be joyful, resilient, positive, motivated, love yourself, accept yourself. And I'm so much more open-hearted after all these, what I guess started in 2007 or whatever. So much open-hearted, so much less judgmental. People just are who they are. Everybody's coping the best they can. And this gives people tools to bring forward what's really latent within them through all their struggles. Anyway, I won't keep going on, but I love it. So
Perfect,
thanks.
Leslie. Yeah, and again, special thanks to Richard Bartlett for showing us how magic we really are, and how we can play. And like he says, maybe the ancient yogis were right. The rules of the universe are more like suggestions. So if you want to play with me and Leslie and see changes in your world, and yes, play with Matrix Energetics and get it on a deeper level, at least our version of playing with this, again, reach out to Richard Bartlett for directly from the guy that it came through, and then join us in Atomic Success Secrets for your own healing and getting what you want in life. Let us know. I've got links there. This will be everywhere: Spotify, Rumble, YouTube. And Leslie, thank you. I know we went way over, and so good to see you.
You'll have to cut it down.
No, we're going straight like this. Okay, I'm going to stop the live stream.
Richard, thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, we just talk and talk until it's done being talked about.